Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
Some stakeholders in the Niger Delta peace process have urged the federal government to review the presidential amnesty program rather than scrap it. The appeal follows speculations that a committee set by the government to review the amnesty program has recommended its termination at a date not later than December 2020. Correspondent Akanami Ofori has details.
On July 11, 2009, late President Umaru Yar'Adua proclaimed amnesty for Niger Delta insurgents as part of efforts to enthrone lasting peace and security in the Niger Delta. The olive branch was extended in response to a collateral damage on the Nigerian economy following sustained attacks on the country's oil and gas assets by armed combatants demanding socio-economic transformation of the backward Niger Delta region. In the unconditional pardon granted ex-combatants, they were required to undergo a process of disarmament, demobilization and reintegration into normal society. During the first phase of the presidential amnesty program, there was a massive mop-up of weapons from over 20,000 ex-agitators who enlisted in the program. After a subsequent process of demobilization, the federal government in 2012 commenced the third phase of the amnesty program under the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan. No fewer than 30,000 repentant combatants were enlisted in the program to benefit from a monthly stipend of 65,000 naira while undergoing training in diverse academic fields and vocations. With the implementation of the amnesty program, the federal government was able to restore relative peace in the oil fields of the Niger Delta. Little wonder President Muhammadu Buhari has twice extended the 2015 terminal date for the program.
We have restored peace in the Niger Delta region and maintained our oil production levels. I am determined to ensure that development meant for the people of the Niger Delta get to them.
With President Buhari's avowed commitment to lasting peace and development in the Niger Delta, many stakeholders in the peace process say they are yet to come to terms with speculations about plans to terminate the amnesty program sometime during the year.
If you scrap amnesty, then you want the economy of this country to crash. Whether we like it or not, amnesty is playing a role in stabilizing oil production in this country. And of course, that was what the federal government wanted. They needed oil. They needed to develop Niger Delta. So they needed oil, so they brought amnesty to stabilize the oil production. And that amnesty has done perfectly well. The benefit of amnesty to Niger Delta, compared to what the federal government is gaining, you will see that the benefit of what the federal government is gaining overweigh what the region is gaining.
Anybody who understands the trajectory of the problems of the Niger Delta and where we are coming from will not suggest at this time such a suggestion to the government. The reason is that we have just gone through a pandemic, or we are still in the pandemic, that have destroyed the economy. The oil sector is facing serious crisis internationally. People are not buying. Even those who are buying, they are begging them to buy. And so it is adversely affecting the economy of Nigeria. And of course, you know that the peace in the Niger Delta is hinged on the flow of oil. If once there is a crisis in that region, it adversely affects oil output in the Niger Delta. And that will obviously affect the economy of Nigeria, that is now a mono economy that relies solely on oil and gas.
While they acknowledged that the presidential amnesty program was not designed to last forever, most Niger Deltans take exception to a sudden plan to wind up the ongoing peace process at a time the Niger Delta region is faced with new emerging security challenges. Ledu Mite was chairman of the Niger Delta Technical Committee set up in September 2008 to produce a framework for lasting peace and security in the region. Worried about the prevailing state of insecurity in the Niger Delta, he advises the federal government to review the amnesty program and devise an exit strategy to forestall likely escalation of violence in the region.
There's no doubt in my mind that the idea behind the amnesty was that it was not supposed to last forever. However, I do not think that an abrupt termination without a clear exit strategy is the way out. It will create more problems than it will solve. And I think that what we in the technical committee of the Niger Delta that I chaired recommended, when we recommended the amnesty, our concept was not in the way it was implemented. I still believe that what we need to do is to review the whole process and then plan an exit strategy.
Last week, President Buhari appointed Milan Dikio, a retired Army colonel from Rivers State, to replace Professor Charles Dokubo as interim coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program. Professor Dokubo was suspended in February this year over allegations of corruption. He was finally dropped after several months of investigation into alleged malfeasance while he held sway as coordinator of the Amnesty Program. It is expected that under the administration of the new coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, it will be reviewed and strengthened to become more impactful on the region and equally beneficial to the rest of the country.
Inside the Niger Delta,